I know what so many people are going to say about this show. Sheamus came back, John Morrison came back, the Usos made their return. Everyone's going to say that it was just a great show. Yeah, those three things, all so notable, such a great way to start 2020. But then I look at it, I look at it this way. I watched 2 hours of this show, the full thing. For the majority, outside of those returns, which might have taken up 3 minutes of the show, it was just a dead episode of SmackDown, which is come to be expected. Now, for Sheamus, for John Morrison, for the Usos, I'm happy they're back. It gives the show another dimension, something different, another element for us to watch, to see how they use Sheamus, how they use John Morrison, how they use the Usos. So that's cool. I'm happy about that. But it hardly redeems the 2 hours we had to watch. Because a lot of this show was just not eventful, nothing really to talk about outside of those like three things. So I'll just get into the review. This isn't going to be overly long. Like I haven't got many notes in this show. So anyway, we start the show backstage and Miz is with Daniel Bryan. Miz tells Bryan to beat the Fiend to the Royal Rumble, not just for him, but for everybody. At least they've been consistent with the Miz and Fiend stuff. From here, this SmackDown took place in Memphis, Tennessee, home of Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett. So we're told that Reigns and Bryan against Corbin and Ziggler will main event, whatever. From here, we open with a triple threat women's tag match, which I had a big gripe at this. This went on way too long. Like everything to do with this took up the first quarter of SmackDown, so it took up half an hour. So this match, as I said, went on way too long. I didn't really care. There was no reason to care. Like, the storyline itself isn't interesting enough, so before the match, Bayley and Sasha came out. They made fun of the fans a little bit with New Year's resolutions being failed and whatnot. From here, Lacey Evans came out, Dana Brooke, and Lacey was like, "How dare you make fun of my daughter?" And I'm thinking to myself, they didn't make fun of your daughter this week. Like, what do you want about? So Lacey cuts the same promo as she did last week, this week, and then, they get the match, run through 2 mid-match commercials. It took 20 minutes. Finally, Lacey Evans comes in, gets a big hot tag, hits a woman's right on Sasha, and then Dana Brooke hits this senton dive on Sasha. 1, 2, 3. Dana Brooke pins Sasha Banks, which I didn't know how to feel about. So, I guess that happened. Chewed up a quarter of SmackDown. Whatever. Moving on. There's a backstage segment with Otis and Mandy Rose talking. Tucker comes over and tells Otis to focus because he has a match next, or later on. And then after a commercial break, Miz approaches the New Day. New Day have this 2020 pancake platter. Kofi lists Miz's accolades, which I didn't need to hear, I already know. Then Miz knocks down the platter, and Kofi says that the Fiend is in Miz's head, so Kofi and Miz will wrestle later on. Fine. Then we get Elias singing, which, okay, sure. He mentions 2020, Shane McMahon possibly returning, and if he does, he should go to Raw. I got a little laugh out of that. And then he mentioned the revival being a joke, Baron Corbin being an STD. Then Elias finishes by saying that the Royal Rumble, everyone will walk with Elias. Alright, Elias will do well in the Rumble. He should last a while, but he won't win it. From here, backstage, the Revival talk about the Miracle on 34th Street fight they had against Heavy Machinery, how that was a joke. They say they're sick of being made into jokes. Shorty G comes over and says that he stopped listening to criticism a while ago and embraced who he was. Dash challenges Gable to a match later on. Okay. From here, Dash Wilder vs Shorty G. As soon as they announced this match, I thought that they'd have Dawson interfere, cause a DQ, then Ali would rush out and they'd do a tag match between the two teams. That's not what happened. The match itself got 4 minutes, which was really underwhelming. Dawson was on commentary. He was just talking about how, they hate being made into a joke. Gable would make Wilder tap out to an ankle lock. Alright. Afterwards, Dawson beat down Gable. Then Revival hit Gable with a shatter machine. And then Sheamus' music hit, which I was happy about. Sheamus, I watch his Celtic Warrior workouts videos. I think Sheamus is a cool dude. I like Sheamus. So he came out, pretty much he scared off the Revival, so he thought he was a face, and then literally 5 seconds later, Bro kicks Gable. So Sheamus is now back as it's kind of like the kind of Finn Balor role in NXT. Sheamus will be doing that on SmackDown, which I think that's fine. I like it. Will they ruin him within 2 weeks? Yes, but it's cool for the moment. From here, we got The Miz against Kofi Kingston, which all I thought during this was Miz, Kofi, and Ziggler were the 3 primary mid-carders of the 2010s in WWE. It's only appropriate that Miz vs Kofi features on the first SmackDown or WWE Main Roster TV show of 2020s. This match, it was whatever. If you've seen one Miz-Kofi match, you've seen them all. This specific one got 4 minutes. Miz went for a skull-crushing finale in the end. Kofi escaped and rolled up Miz 1, 2, 3 to win the match. Afterwards, Miz ambushed Kofi, and then Miz stormed off. The crowd was chanting, "You suck" at Miz. Miz had this he's snapped at the crowd. He was yelling. So Miz became a heel there, which I thought that was fine. From here, backstage, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns are talking. Bryan says that he'll win the Universal Championship of the Royal Rumble from The Fiend. Reigns says that if Bryan has the title at WrestleMania, he'll face Bryan because, Reigns says that he's entering the Royal Rumble and he'll win the Royal Rumble. So, Reigns actually will legit win the Royal Rumble, as I've made videos on before. Anyway, after a commercial, we get an interviewer knocking on Miz's door. John Morrison then comes out. So, we get John Morrison on WWE TV. Morrison comes out and says that The Miz has nothing left to say. So that's a second notable return for the night. John Morrison coming out. Cool. Miz and Morrison's a tag team. It'll be alright. Will they get lost in the shuffle on SmackDown? Yes. Are they going to lose all their appeal within a month? Yes, but, at least they're trying, I guess. From here we get Otis versus Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak cut a promo beforehand about how Gulak himself and Dolph Ziggler are just too good for Otis, and they will win the love of Mandy Rose. They do the match. Backstage, Ziggler, Rose, and DeVille are all standing around a screen watching this. Gulak was talking some trash, then Otis took his shirt off and hit all his signature moves and won, so that was whatever. Otis and Mandy Rose is the best storyline they have going on SmackDown, outside of The Fiend and Bryan, so whatever, really. I like what they're going for, but tonight they didn't really do anything too notable with Mandy and Otis. So moving on, Cesaro against Braun Strowman. When I'm watching this, I'm like, this match could be main event caliber if WWE knew how to book their talents. Instead, it's thrown onto SmackDown here. The match went through a mid-match commercial. Afterwards, Strowman ran around ringside as he does. He bowled over Nakamura and Cesaro. Sami Zayn hit under the ring. Eventually, Zayn got involved. Cesaro sent Strowman shoulder first in the ring post. Then Strowman avoided the neutralizer. Caught Cesaro with a power slam. 1, 2, 3. Strowman wins the match. And then immediately afterwards, Nakamura lays out Strowman with a Kinshasa. Whatever, really. That got 6-7 minutes. We didn't see most of it, though, because it was in commercial. And then we get our main event, tag team match, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. Pretty much all the guys came out. They did a commercial, so that took up literally 10 minutes of the show. We got Reigns working over Corbin and Ziggler for a couple minutes at the start. Bryan came in, and then we heard the Fiend's laugh, and the lights kind of went down a little bit, and then we went to commercial. That commercial break took up 5 minutes. After the break, you had Roman Reigns being beaten down by Corbin and Ziggler again. Finally, Reigns made the big hot tag to Bryan. Bryan came in, worked over Ziggler a little bit, and then the Fiend actually showed up. The drill sound and the really menacing Fiend stuff came on the speakers and the PA around the arena. We got the Fiend at ringside. The Fiend beat up Bryan, assaulted him, laid him out with the mandible claw. So from here, I think it was just a no contest, the match. So this left Roman Reigns alone with Corbin and Ziggler. They tried to handcuff him and pour dog food on him again. They got the cans of dog food out, got the handcuffs, and then all of a sudden, the Usos finally made their return to WWE. We got the Usos rushing down. They made the save to Roman, double super kick on Ziggler, laid out Corbin. They did their big dual suicide dive onto both of them. So we end the show with the Usos saving Roman Reigns. That's how we got off the air on SmackDown. So, this review is pretty quick. All in all, this first episode of SmackDown for the year 2020 and the 2020s decade as a whole, we got the Usos returning, which I don't know why they didn't return a month ago, but still, so the Usos made their return. We got Sheamus returning and John Morrison. Out of the three, probably I don't know which one's going to be work out better in the long run. In my honest opinion, by February, all of them are going to not feel very special because of how SmackDown booked their talents, but still, I feel like Sheamus should team with Cesaro and reform the Bar. Then the Usos can be in the tag team division as well. And then John Morrison and Miz can be a tag team. And you can really build a good tag team division off that. So that's what they should do. Will they do it? I doubt it. But regardless, this SmackDown episode, overall rating, I'm going to give this a D. A lot of people are going to say, oh, it was B. It was a good show. You got 3 returns. What more could you want? Here's my thing. 3 of those returns, that doesn't justify the 30 minutes of women's action at the start of the show that gave us nothing. Just Elias randomly singing. What else did we get? Otis versus Drew Gulak. Just Braun Strowman, Cesaro. All this random stuff. 15 minutes of a tag team match in the main event that no one cares about. That doesn't make it good. So that's my overall review of SmackDown for this week. January 3rd, 2020. First episode of the new decade. Should you go out of your way to watch this? Nah, you can go to YouTube, watch the returns. The best return was probably the Usos with how they booked it. Sheamus, and then Morrison's one was a little anticlimactic, but it was kind of cool nevertheless. So that's my review. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.